MRW, up or
Do you wanna
down, balls
serve or
up,
do you wanna
balls down,
return?
POD.
Which side is the sun, man? Are we serving?
Wait, which way is that?
Spin the Racket.
Welcome back to Spin the Racket, the recreational tennis pod, covering everything from the Pro Tour to the everyday league player. I'm your boy G.
And I'm Lou.
Today we're joined by Marcus Gilliam, CEO of Netgains Tennis. He is a former athlete and has a passion for nonprofit work and doing some great work in the Atlanta community. Marcus, welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. I've got my Deuce hat on here, so it's just kind of if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, you see this amazing hat spelled D-U-S, you with the umlaut on it, so it's like pronounced ooh, like deuce, like tennis, which is cool. Got this hat over the weekend at the Netgains tennis event, the ATL kickoff, which was absolute blast. Like Lou and I were talking about it, had an amazing time, got a lot of energy from it. So excited to
come out. Glad you guys could come out. Shout out to Kev. That's the owner of Deuce.
Yeah, he was a super nice guy too. And a really good tennis player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, tell us about that event. So obviously, we were out there at Grant Park over the weekend on Saturday. I think it was called the ATL Kickoff Rally. Talk to us about how that came together.
Yeah. So I guess I'll take a quick step back. So Netgains Tennis altogether is a recreational tennis company. We bring a lot of beginners out and expose them to the game of tennis in non-traditional ways. As you all know, you guys play tennis. Traditional tennis is a little more quiet, a little more structured. And so we just created a lane where we could expose players to tennis via events, special events. So, there's music, there's vendors, there's games, there's fun. There are all these different things that allow people to come out and have an experience, but still also get to experience tennis at its core. And so that's who we are. That's what we do. And to go into this weekend, like you said, we had the ATL kickoff rally, which was a prelude to the Atlanta Cup coming to Atlanta. We wanted to do something to welcome, the community and all of the tennis players around the area to be able to come out and enjoy and participate in tennis.
Yeah, no, it was a cold weekend out there for sure. Like I was telling Lou about that. I was like, if we stopped moving for a minute, we just started freezing, shivering again. But there were a lot of people out there, which was fun. So like there's a lot of good energy, and it was cool to see how many folks you had in the community out there, just from not only participants, but also sponsors and folks that you mentioned like Premier Racket Sports and so forth. Like how have you kind of, I guess, cultivated that community and kind of gotten people to get some excitement around Netgains tennis?
Yeah. Honestly, man, just networking. So that's kind of my bag a little bit. I don't mind getting out and saying who I am and telling people what I got going on. And I think that people in and around the tennis community, especially from like a professional standpoint, I think that they're looking to have more people exposed to the sport. They're looking to help grow the sport. And so when I reach out to them and tell them that that's kind of what I want to do, then they're typically on board. And it does help, that we've had some initial events that we did just on our own, and they had a certain level of success that we could kind of like piggyback off of and show some proof of concept. So when we were able to do that mixed with the ideas that we have for like future events, typically we receive some good support. So I was saying we did a lot of lead work kind of on our own beforehand before we started reaching out to people. But one of my mentors was a huge help in this, Jamel Madison of Madison Ace Racket Sports out in Dallas. He gave me a whole lot of game, kind of schooled me a little bit on how to approach certain things. And, we had a bunch of conversations. I gave him kind of like the vision of what we wanted to do. And he's doing something very similar out in Dallas, obviously on a larger scale. And he gave me the game, and, we were able to use that and kind of springboard some of his ideas and make them into our own. And then from there, we started reaching out and acquiring sponsorships and partners.
How did that vision come about, Marcus? Like what sprung this whole thing?
Yeah. So actually, it's kind of a funny story. So I actually own a nonprofit, the Southside Aviator, and we teach minorities how to fly planes and expose them into aviation careers. And in the state of Georgia, you actually need 3 people to start a nonprofit. So there's me, my big brother, who is a pilot for American Airlines. We're kind of the two figureheads of the organization, but you needed a third person. And so my dad was gracious enough to sign his name on and come on as like the third founding member. And, that's not really his lane. He's a tennis coach by trade. So we were looking for something to do that he could kind of be involved with. And we had done a Thanksgiving turkey drive, and that was kind of just a little bit saturated. We didn't want to go back into that. So we were thinking out of the box. And I just so happened to see Jeremy, who is my business partner, also one of my close friends from college. He was just starting tennis lessons. And so I'm competitive. I reached out to him on social media and kind of called him out to a challenge online. He accepted. And so it was on. We were doing a charity tennis match, and it was all to raise money, for nonprofits or whatever the case may be. And so I ended up reaching out, asking, is there anybody, in the area, the West Midtown area, who was going to be able to coach me in tennis and teach me how to play tennis. And it just so happened that Sergio, who is our head coach, was in the area. And so funny enough, my dad was his tennis coach. He taught him how to play tennis.
That's
and
pretty
so when he
cool.
saw the message, he was like, yeah, man, come on
Full
out.
circle.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. You say, I'll teach you. So I took him up on that offer. I trained with him every day, twice a day for a couple of hours for about maybe about 2 months, 3 months. And we held the charity tennis match. But, as we were training and as we were kind of going through the steps in the process, I started to realize, like, man, this is actually very interesting. And I think that, more people who are around my age, around, the types of things that I like to do, especially living in Atlanta, it's kind of monolithic. You only can do, a couple of things. And so I was like, hey, man, this would be something that I think would be cool if we expose this, in the way that we know how, to a larger crowd. And so we talked it over, and we decided to start a company. And so it's very non-traditional, very spur of the moment, very in the moment. But also I think that's what makes us who we are. We're just regular people who found the game and loved it, and figured that more people would also love it if they had a chance to experience it the way that we did. And that's what we do.
That's really cool. That is a funny story. Like Luis and I both know Sergio too. We played him in Alta doubles this season, and I've played him in USTA before. Great tennis player. You're talking a story about how you're like training up for the tournament. Like that could be like a Netflix special, following you and just
Seriously.
like fitness to tennis, like getting ready for that, like seeing how you perform, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I will say one of the things that makes me proud. So the day of that charity match, it stormed. Like it stormed the night before, and we did the charity match so early. The courts were still wet, and I can remember getting to the courts obviously early, and it was one of those moments that you would see like on a Netflix special, because I get there, the courts are destroyed.
Jeez.
It's like, oh man, and this is our first thing. And mind you, we sold tickets to this because we were looking to raise money. So like we have people coming,
wow.
we have all of these different things happening. And so it really, that's kind of one of my highlight moments so far. And we've done some great things, but that's one of my highlight moments because, I got there, and it was one of those times where it's like nobody would blame you if you canceled. The courts are wet. It's bad. Like it doesn't look good. And so I remember praying and saying like, man, what should I do? And I ended up just going on YouTube, looking like, how can you dry courts really fast? And mind you, I have no tennis experience whatsoever. And so what I did was very inefficient. I went and got like the squeegee.
Yes.
And I was using it wrong, but it took me maybe like 2 hours. It took me about 2 hours to dry half the court. So I definitely didn't make like a grand impact or anything like that. But to put that physical labor in, and then, as you're working, like the sun comes up, it starts getting hot, and it's drying your side of the court. And obviously Sergio comes out there and it's like, yeah, I got a blower, bro. You should have just called me. So he blows the other half of the court. But I say all that to say, like, I think that after that event, I felt that's probably like the most gratifying I've felt so far. And I've had some gratifying moments in this thing. but that was one of the most, because it's like you could have quit, you could have not
Yeah.
done anything, you could have just walked away, and nobody would have blamed you. Everybody would have understood. But
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
we went forward with the mission, and we ended up having a great event. We had a great turnout. It was actually on Thanksgiving Day, and people came out, you know, right before they went on and, you know, spent time with their families and whatnot. So crazy moment, but that definitely probably would have made it on the Netflix special if we were recording.
That is pretty
That's
cool.
sweet. Yeah. I mean, what can I say? Like, I was just talking about that today. It's most of the work is just showing up,
Yeah,
and just doing the thing. Like, did you know how to dry a court? No. But what did you do? You searched for information. You figured it out. At the end of the day, whether you did it efficiently or not, you dried half the court, and that's what
facts,
matters. You
facts.
had the right attitude, the right intention to just show up and try to do the thing. So I think that's super powerful.
Yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I must say that squeegeeing courts is like probably top of my list of like the worst things I could do as a tennis player. Like I hate having to squeegee. Like get out there, you see the courts are wet, and it's just
Yeah,
like you put so much
it
energy and
wasn't
effort into
good.
it. Like I'm exhausted by the time I start playing. You know, it's like it's a
It
lot.
definitely was not good, and
I'm
not
not
knowing
above it.
how to do it definitely did not help.
Yeah. No, I mean, I had my fair share of it. I think I squeegeed courts not too long ago, probably like within the last 2 months. So everybody's got to do it. That's the thing. It's very humbling. It's a very
Yeah,
humbling part of tennis, especially here in the South, where we don't really have a lot of indoor facilities. Like you're at the mercy of the rain, and like everybody that
absolutely.
knows me knows how much like I fight with the weather. But it's like like tennis is a sport where I grew up without any sort of indoor facilities. So it was always looking at the weather, always looking at the weather, and always complaining about the weather. When I used to play soccer as a kid, not an issue. It rains, whatever. Cool, we're still playing. But with tennis, is a whole other story. So,
Facts.
yeah, a lot of people would probably quit in that moment. Just be like, yeah, courts are rained out. Can't do it. But I mean, you had a lot of stuff on the line.
Yeah, yeah, this was it. This was the beginning. So, you know, I just didn't want that to be how we started or potentially ended. Because, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that can end you, even if it's not your fault.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that event was kind of your first time playing like real competitive tennis. Like, talk to us about your game right now. Like how have you evolved? You know, since then. Like, how's that forehand looking? Like where are we right now?
Yeah. So I actually haven't ranked or gone through the rankings yet. So I'm not officially sure how that works because I spend so much time behind the scenes.
Fair.
But from what I hear, I could potentially be like right around like a 3-0, 3-5 type player,
Okay.
which
All right.
is, you know, pretty good considering that I've been playing, I guess now right around a year.
Right. No, that
Yeah,
is really
so
good.
yeah, I picked it up pretty quick, but you know how that goes when you got a background in sports. Um, it doesn't necessarily translate to your skill, but what does translate is that rigidness in preparation. So like
Mm-hmm.
I prepared as if I was getting ready to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able
Yeah.
to pick it up pretty quickly, and I live pretty close to the courts. I still live pretty close to the courts. So it was nothing for me to get over there and put the time in, and I enjoyed it. So a lot of times it was something that I did, you know, after a work day or whatever the case may be. You know, stress is a good stress reliever. There's so many pros. I know that wasn't necessarily the question, but when I started thinking about it, like there's just so many pros to the game,
Yeah.
which kind of
Honestly.
speaks again to
I
why we're
was
doing it.
No, well, as someone who's been doing it for a year, I wanted to ask you, like, we have a lot of listeners, and the idea of this pod is being broad, right? We're not necessarily just having folks that are super into tennis and want to know about the ATP and the WTA tour. Like, we're trying to cast a wider net and really talk to folks about recreational tennis, which is what most folks actually become acquainted with, right? With
Right.
actually, you familiarize yourself with tennis because you have a court at your local park or whatever, or your apartment complex. What would you say to someone who has come across tennis and maybe hasn't considered it, or is maybe thinking about it? Right? What would you say as a new player would be the benefit, or what could be exciting about it?
Yeah. So for me, I think one of the more exciting points, and this may not be for everybody, but as somebody who grew up competitive, as like an ultra competitor, I think the stark difference between tennis and the sports that I traditionally grew up in, where they were team sports. And so this is like the ultimate litmus test. Like it's you. You either gonna be good or you're gonna be bad. You
Yep.
know, obviously there's doubles, but that's not how you start off. You start off by yourself, training, hitting forehands, backhands, all of those different things. And so it teaches you a lot about yourself. Honestly, um, it taught me so many different things. One of the things is there's no excuse. Like you can't make an excuse. You're either gonna do well or you're not gonna do well. And it does teach you how to like face reality. And I'm not saying that that's not something that people don't know how to do, but you realize that it's a lot easier to dodge reality when there are other variables. You know, you can always put something off on this or that or whatever the case may be. And in tennis, at least in my experience, that kind of wasn't the case. Like it was just, you didn't do well, you know, and it teaches you to be okay with that because tennis is not easy. It's not easy. And even as somebody coming from an athletic background, I was expecting to do better than I did a lot of times, you know, and you look up and you're not doing as well as you think. And then even as you start getting better, you see one day you're not doing as well as you were doing yesterday. And it's like traditional sports, especially like football, basketball, like those things are linear. You know, as you get better, you kind of don't tail off as long as you keep doing it. But in tennis, that's just not how it works. You know, you could be doing well for an extended period of time and then your level of play just raises. And as your level of play raises and those around you raise as well, you know, you could be back to stinking it up. And that doesn't feel great, but it helps you to kind of like deal with those things. And in business, that's a skill, you know. So if you are in business or whatever field you may be in, like it gives you transferable skills that you can take into the real world via something that's just fun. So, my advice to answer your question or what I would recommend is just try it. You know, it's not a life or death thing. I'm not looking to go on tour like you said. So, you know, if it doesn't work out, if I don't have a good day, then, you know, I go home and see what happens the next day. But it's a good stress reliever. It's a good form of exercise. As I emphasized before, it's something different than your traditional Atlanta day out or night out. You know what comes with that. And that's all well and good. But this is the other side to it. You know, get out and get active, have some fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it goes back to for a lot of folks, I mean, myself included, I can't run more than 30 minutes. I can play 3+ hours of tennis. And
Right.
so think of like my ability to get out there and get some sunlight, do all the good things for the body, right? Just like socialize, get some sunlight, get some fresh air, move my body, all that.
Yeah.
Tennis does that for me in a way that no other discipline has managed to do it.
Right.
A lot of people can pick up running, but it's not for everyone.
It's not for
I
me.
get bored. I get bored after 20
Yeah.
or 30 minutes. And so I'm a 5K kind of guy, but so we talked about anything that, and this is funny, it was a conversation we had on Saturday with someone, I can't recall who, but I think it was the gentleman from Premier Sports.
Corey.
We talked about the Corey.
Yeah.
Corey. So he mentioned again pickleball being another aspect of can't now it's like you can't talk about tennis without talking about pickleball and vice versa. But we've had conversations in this podcast in previous episodes where we talk about how influential pickleball has been in getting America moving again, right? And
Yeah, for
getting
sure.
people active, getting people out there. So tennis is just another one of those tools, but it's a very powerful one. And it's great that you recognize the mental aspect and brutality of, sometimes being a tennis player. It's like playing tennis is like looking in the mirror. It's easy to do, but it's hard to digest.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot when I think about NGT. There's a lot of similarities to this organization I played in growing up, called DD&J Junior Tennis Foundation, and it was in Columbia, South Carolina, and that's where I learned how to play tennis. It was a nonprofit started by this husband and wife couple. They had another third gentleman who was a part of that organization as well. But their whole mission in life was to teach young Black kids how to play tennis. And
Oh wow, nice.
that was how I learned the game. So since I was 11 years old, that's how I first picked my racket up, and they kind of taught me to play and did leagues and stuff like that. Played tournaments. They helped support travel and participation and all of that. And so I mean, there's so much opportunity, I think, for kids who want to play tennis and want to have opportunity to compete in the sport. And it's not even just like, hey, I want to go pro necessarily. It's just
Right.
even just building the right skills to be healthy and to know this discipline and to be able to, get social skills with it as well. I mean, there's just so many different factors and areas to it. Like, how do you kind of, as you think about where NGT can go and your inspiration for it, like where do you kind of see it, like, I guess, growing in the next few years here?
That's a good question, man. I think there are a few different faucets that I see Netgains operating in. One, I do think that I would like to see us grow kind of in the same vein as my dad did with tennis. He taught, obviously taught tennis at the local high school here, but he
Mhm.
also used tennis to teach young boys who otherwise may not have had like a father figure in the moment. Like that was kind of his bag. He took a lot of kids. I have a lot of, non-blood brothers that
Mhm.
I got through the game of tennis. And obviously I wasn't playing at the time, but that was what my dad was doing. And he brought kids in and he showed them, whatever he had to show them. I don't want to speak for him or for them because he showed them so many different things. And I would love to continue something like that, being able to bring kids in, being able to bring in people who don't have this or that and showing
Mhm.
them, the different things in life that they could do and take away via the game. I also would like to get into competitive. I'd
Mhm.
like to have a team. We're looking on starting a team, a NetGains tennis team.
Oh wow,
And yeah.
that's gonna be
So
cool.
we're in talks. We're in talks about starting that up right now.
USTA or Alta?
We're looking at Alta right now, but we're having those talks and seeing like what it'll look like if we do that. Obviously, we need a home base, and that's kind of like our big stop right now. While we're trying to develop our own, we're looking to potentially buy our own courts,
Wow.
hopefully. So that those are some of the things that we're looking to do in the future. But more than anything, we just want to make sure that we're creating a space that people can come and experience the game for the first time, for the second time, for the 100th time, and still have that good time. I think at our core, that's what we do, and that's who we are. We're exposing people to tennis, and then making those connections. Like I said, whether you are playing for the first time or the 100th time, you can come out and have a good time,
Mhm.
and that's kind of what we do.
Yeah. Well, I had a great time, like I said, at the event on
Oh,
Saturday.
thank you, man.
I know you
Thank you.
I can
mentioned it was
resonate.
a prelude to the Atlanta Cup, which I'm still kind of sore that I didn't get to go. I was texting Lou about that, feeling a little
Yeah.
FOMO.
Yeah. And you, Lou, did you win? You won. Did you win?
Yeah, I won.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
won
Look at that,
everything.
man.
I just
You,
honestly, I woke up that day and I was like, man, I'm beat from the week. But it's also, I hadn't played tennis in like 2, 3 weeks.
yeah.
And so I hadn't touched a racket. I hadn't done anything. And I was like, I almost wasn't like a tennis funk. Like, I'm like, dude, I gotta get out there. I gotta do the things, I like, it keeps me healthy. So I was like,
Yeah.
dang, man. So I just kind of showed up with like no expectation. Just I was told to be at a place at a time, and I was like, I'm gonna check it out. I have an open mind, and so
Yeah.
we literally just showed up with a water bottle and a racket, and I came out of there just feeling a whole like just feeling different altogether, recharged.
Oh man, that's what's up, man.
It
That's what's
felt
up.
very recharged for a Saturday after a long work week, and G can attest to that. I was just kind of MIA all last week, just swamped with work, and so coming out, 3:18 in the afternoon and saying goodbye to you, and then just looking back, I'm just like, wow, this was cool. Like
Yeah.
I want to do it again, and I know I told you. Um, then and there, like, hey, how can we support? How can we help? That's something that definitely I felt like I was giving some energy back in a
Yeah.
way.
Oh, no, that's what's up, man. So yeah, if honestly, if I could summarize, that's what we're doing. That's who we are. If we could create that for one person, two people, 10 people, whatever the case may be, uh, man, I feel really good hearing you say that, man. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you got a chance to experience it, both of you. And obviously, congratulations. I'm glad you won. What did you win? You won shoes or did you win a side prize?
Dude, I got three things.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
I won yeah, so I hit a target, so I won a hat.
Okay.
Then I ended up unfortunately G got disqualified on some some bad shot, unfortunately. It was just like see, he's too nice, man. So he was looking back and then like all of a sudden he looks forward and like the shot's just like kind of in the corner and he's just like, "Oh my gosh." And so yeah,
You got
unfortunate turn of
disqualified.
events. Otherwise, he would have gotten the sling with me. So I won
Disqualified is
that
a strong
prize.
word.
No.
But
Yeah, I
it
don't
was
know.
like I wasn't necessarily
I'll let
ready
you explain it,
when they started the point, and so like when I turned back around, it was already like a drop shot was already happening, and I was like, oh, okay, so
Oh, you
couldn't get
missed
to
one
him,
of the
but
balls. Like you
yeah.
need an extra ball. Oh
right,
man.
right,
Yeah, so
but
just
it's
yeah,
all
because
right.
we, Sergio just kind of like signaled at us like, "Hey, come help us out on this side." So we just kind of go and
Yeah.
help them out, and all of a sudden it's like, "You guys won," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And so that happened, and then yeah, I ended up getting the shoes at the end.
Okay. Okay. Well, hey, one winner's cool. Two would have been great, but as long as you won,
That's
I'm
Yeah,
right.
glad
no,
you're able to
That's
walk
what
yeah,
I
away
it
told
with
was
her.
it.
it
I
was a
was-
different experience. And trust me, like I said, I had no expectations. I was joking with G. I was like, yeah, man, this is for making up for all those kid parties that I went to as a little kid and didn't win anything,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. No, so that's one of the things. And so, Gerard, did you get anything? Did you win anything at all?
they had like at the end they were like, if you didn't win a prize, come over
Yeah.
here and grab something. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
did take
Cool. Cool.
I got
Cool. Yeah.
I got a
So yeah,
wristband. It's cool.
that's one of our goals, man. We like to try to make sure that everybody who supports at least leaves with something. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you got a chance to win, even if it wasn't competitive for participation.
That's right. Hey,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
it.
We try our best. It doesn't always work out like that,
Right.
just to be totally transparent. But if
No,
if
it,
at all we can, yeah, we
yeah,
try to
most of
make
the
sure
time
that
I don't
everybody
win, man.
wins.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. That was very abnormal.
Well, it's because the week you had.
I
Yeah,
guess,
the
man.
week
I'm
you
telling
had
you.
it, we couldn't let you go out like that, man. You had to win something. You had to
Yeah,
turn it around.
I was like, wow, what a turnout of events. Like,
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear you say that, man. That means a lot. If we could do anything, we want people leaving feeling like, man, I had a good time. I left better than I came.
I was gonna say, I know you mentioned that you've done other events as well, some larger than that, some smaller. Like, what do your other events look like?
So it depends on, I guess, what it is that we're doing. So we did our spring open, which is going to be something annual. So I'll definitely be inviting you guys out to that. Our annual
Awesome.
spring open is a big blowout. It's free. We invite everybody out. We have vendors, games, prizes, music. And it's just a celebration of the spring being ushered back in. This period of time right here is not for the casual player. You got to have some dedication to come out
That's right.
in the weather that's currently taking place. So we get together and we celebrate, the good weather being ushered back in. And we bring everybody out. Last year, I think we did like 135 people.
Wow.
And
That's a lot.
that was, that was our initial big event. That was our
Okay.
first big event. And so, people are going to be looking forward to coming back out to that. And like I said, since then, obviously we've garnered partners and sponsors and all the different things. So our plan is to go bigger this
Nice.
year. And so definitely guys come out, but we've done that. We did our late night set, which was a club theme. So we did
Okay.
7 to midnight at ITA or ITP, which is now ITA. We had to, that was for the adults only. That wasn't, we didn't have any kids there, but it was, we had the drinks, we had the music, we had the food
Nice.
and all of that. So you got to come play a little tennis. Then there was like a lounge area upstairs where you could get food. There was a kitchen, your cocktails and all of those different things, your mocktails. whatever your flavor was. And so we did the club style. We actually went out and participated in overnight tennis. We sponsored that out in Dallas, and that was a great time. So that was actually 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. And again, that was with Jamel, my mentor. So we
Legit.
got a chance to go out and do that and experience that. We did our servant slay, which was our ladies' night. We brought out 25 ladies, you know, and coached them up, gave them drills, and did some competition, let them play at the end. Yeah, so you know, we mix it up. We make sure that there's something for everybody, but we try to take our experiences as, you know, young entrepreneurs and business men and women who have grown up in and around Atlanta, and the experiences that we know, that we love, that we all like, and we kind of fused it into the sport to, like I said, make sure that there's something for everybody. And then obviously, you know, we have our traditional tennis matches and trainings and boot camps. That's just tennis. So we got a little something for everybody.
How do you promote these events? How do you get the word out?
Yeah, so well, now we have a mailing list that does pretty well. So we use that, but in the beginning, guerrilla marketing, that was always my big thing. So for our very first event, I printed off 1,000 flyers and I walked blocks. I put flyers on people's cars. I handed them to people. Social media, obviously, sent out emails, cold calls, whatever, you know, just letting people know that we were a thing and that we had something going on. And people showed up. And since then, obviously, you know, we built a database. We got a mailing list. We still use social media. We still have flyers that we hand out. We still do all the things. But now we get a little help via word of mouth. People come and they say, oh, I had a great time. Hey, you should come. You should come. And, you know, we've been spreading like that. So traditional marketing, guerrilla marketing, word of mouth, referrals, however we can get it. We try to spread the word.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, at some point, in order to get started, you definitely got to, you know, pound the pavement and get the word out there. And it's good that it's starting to click where people in the brand and kind of show up for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you do something right, you get repeat customers. That's typically how it goes. So in this case, yeah, I mean, somebody has a good time. Why wouldn't they want to have bring their friends or whatever? Like now I'm thinking of all the people that I could have brought to that event. And I'm like, dang, dude, I can think of at least 30 people.
Yeah. So, and even with that, there's an upside to that. I love not loving that people didn't show up, but I love that people have that feeling that you just expressed of, hey, I actually wish you would have been at the last one, because that incentivizes people to come to the next one. When people hear oh yeah, you should come, that's great too. We have no problem with that. But I really wish you were even at the last one is an additional selling point. So, you know, marketing is not necessarily my field of business, but it is at the same time. And so when I hear stuff like that, that's a marketing dream to hear somebody say, you know, not only do you need to come to the next one, but I had so much fun at the last one. I actually wish you were there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, maybe, you know, we'll chop it up and put it on social media. Just my little review of the event.
Oh, man, I'm down for that. I'm definitely down for that. We would love to have it.
Everything that we're saying right now can be a reel or a TikTok. Just FYI.
Yeah. So I will say, just admittedly, for the sake of conversation, that is something that I do not do well. If I have to admit, social media, I don't love it. I don't love it, but I know that I need it. Yeah. And so that's that rocking that hard place. Everybody has one. I think that's mine. Social media is just I get on it. I like it for the business, obviously, but I don't know, man. It's something about it that I don't like. And I haven't been able to put my finger on it, but it has prevented me from getting on as much as I should.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where, you know, everybody, G and I talk about this all the time, right? It's we have to play to our strengths. So I'm sure someone in your team, you know, has that quality where they like social media and they know how to do things. And again, it's just taking an interest to it to gain a skill, you know, just like you learn how to dry the courts. I'm sure if someone is super into it, or they feel like they wanna grow the social media following for Netgains, and they can do it. There's a lot of content out there. It's just someone willing to digest it and then turn it back around and say this is what our strategy is going to be for
Yeah,
gaining followers, right? So maybe you've got
absolutely.
someone in your team that you can play those strengths to
Yep,
and
absolutely. Yeah, that's
delegate.
Ty. So Ty was actually my college roommate. Him and his wife Sierra, they head up our marketing. They do that by trade. They're really good at it. They designed our website, so definitely go check that out. Like we have a top of the line website.
Oh, I
All of the
saw it.
things that we do are they're top of the line. That's Ty's bag, man. He really
That's awesome.
does. He goes above and beyond with those things. He's a UX guy, so that's
Nice.
his bag. And yeah, Sierra, she's marketing by trade, so I leave that to them. They make sure that you get the pretty emails and all of the things that look great,
Nice.
and yeah, they knock that out of the park.
Yeah,
That's
the
huge.
goal. The goal is so that you just have someone with a camera following you around, and then just documenting all the cool stuff that you do,
That's what
and
I
then
need
they
to
just
do.
chop it up, and it just becomes content, right? That's the goal that the G and I have too.
Okay, yeah, no, man, that's that modernization I got to get used to.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, just being in front of the camera and it's just everything. Yeah, you realize everything is content.
yeah,
Every little
yeah.
piece of thing, like yeah, like you do a lot of cool stuff. I can already tell from all the stuff that you're mentioning, all the nonprofits. So it's just like you just need to figure out a way to document that.
Yeah, yep,
That's
yep.
just
I hear that a
documenting.
lot.
You don't have to sit in front of the camera and say, "What am I going to say?" Because you're already doing the cool stuff. It's just basically uh hit record, and then I will tell you, and G will say the same. Editing is like the hardest part,
Yeah,
especially the more
yeah,
you
yeah,
record. It's just figuring out what's going to work, what are those moments. But
Hmm.
we are also in that process of in that journey of like building that muscle memory of whipping the camera out
yeah,
and recording the moment, because that moment only happened once, and you may go hit again and be on court again, but that moment in time has already passed. So why
yeah.
didn't you record it? Why didn't you just post it? It's a muscle, but one that we encourage you to flex.
No, that's definitely a good way of looking at it. I'm gonna take that. I received that advice. I'm gonna take that in, and I'm gonna do a better job. 2026 social media mark is activated.
There you go.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I know. We always joke about trying to get some interns for Spin the Racket. Some people who help on that front.
no, for sure, for sure.
But speaking of this beautiful website, social media, where can people follow you? Like, what should they be looking at right now? Just as they're kind of looking up NGT. Like, what are the sites?
Yeah, so netgainstennis.com, that's our website. You can join our mailing list. Obviously, follow us on Instagram. We're in the midst of building out our TikTok and threads and all of those different things. But right now, you can follow us and catch us on Instagram. That's our main social media platform. And then, like I said, our website. Those are our two modes right now. But we are building out the rest of them as we speak.
And what do you have coming up? Like, what's the next thing on the radar?
So right now, our next thing is going to be our spring open. We're going down for the season. We do have our beginner and intermediate boot camps. Those clinics happen every Friday and Saturday. So those will continue on through the winter. If you're interested in coming out, Friday night, 6:30 is our intermediate clinic. Saturday at 10 a.m., that's our beginner clinic. And those are posted on our website. But in terms of large scale event, our spring open is probably going to be our next big event to celebrate that changing of the weather.
Awesome. And just for the clinics, just so I'm aware. So is it like you sign up on the website and kind of like book a space? I'm sure it's kind of like, is it limited in terms of how many people can sign up, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we typically do 10 people per class to make
Hmm.
sure that there's enough. So if we get 10 in a class, then we'll open up a second class to make sure that there's enough space. Because it's typically 8 people per court, so we
Hmm.
stretch it to 10. But we don't want to go to a point to where you're uncomfortable or you don't have the space
Right.
to learn and grow and participate and all of those different things. So
Yeah.
10 per class. After the first 10, we'll shut that class down and open up class B. and you can sign up, and we just kind of move from there.
That's great. That's a really good deal too. I mean, that kind of like attention to have from a coach, especially knowing the staff that you have, like everyone's really, really good. So that's pretty solid.
Absolutely. Thank you.
What part of Atlanta is this in? Is this also in Grant Park as well?
So yeah, we're based primarily Peachtree Hills is our typical court. That's the court that we've
Okay.
done most of our clinics at, but we service anywhere in Atlanta. We're vendors in the city of Atlanta, so any court in Atlanta we have some access to.
Nice. So do the classes rotate, or you just kind of keep it at the same facility at Peachtree Hills?
For continuity, we typically do Peachtree Hills for the classes, but you can go on netgainstennis.com and submit a request if you want us to come to your neighborhood.
That's cool.
So yeah, we'll absolutely move around. You know, if we have the numbers and it makes sense, obviously, we have no problem coming to you.
I mean, yeah, I'm thinking, most Alta teams have at least 10 people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about a team that has 20 people. That would be 2 courts, and potentially, that'd be cool. Like, have a team, like, imagine a whole team just booking you guys. Like, hey, we want to get better. I know those teams. Like, there's some teams out there that, regardless of the level, that like everyone's kind of has that mentality. Like, hey, we're great at this level, but like, we want to get better. Imagine a whole team booking you guys for a whole session. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we're open to it. Like I said, send us a message. We'll definitely come to you. We'll make sure that we give you something that you leave saying, hey, it was worth it, and I'd like to do it again.
Sweet. Now we haven't asked Marcus the quintessential spin the racket question. Marcus, now that you've been in the game of tennis for a year, we want to ask you a question we ask every single guest. And it's very polarizing. I think we've got almost a 50-50 spread on this. I think G's got a little bit more on his side now. But, there's no winning side. Would you rather, like, in a situation where you had to play, right, would you rather have no serve or no forehand?
I'm going to say no serve. And the reason why I say no serve is because if I can get lucky, because you can get lucky on a serve. If I can get lucky once and I can break your serve, then I can win. I can still win. But if I have no forehand, if I don't ace you every time, I lose. So, I know you need that serve, though. I mean, obviously, this is not a perfect world. So,
yeah.
If I have to pick, I think I'm gonna go with no serve. When I say it out loud, it sounds wrong, but I think I'm gonna go with no serve. I think
there's no right or right or wrong.
You're so convicted at first, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I think that's
yeah. Because off first thought, I'm like, yeah, you can make it up, by winning with your forehand. But then again, no serve is tough. Yeah, no serve is tough. No serve is tough. But I don't have the greatest serve now, so maybe that's also a piece of it.
That's fair.
I can get it in, but it's very rare that I just blow it past somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a pretty dim situation one way or another. I think it's just like preference, right? I think, G, you chose no forehand, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's coming from a guy that has a great backhand. See, so he's like, yeah, I'll serve bot it and then just like crush it with a backhand. Most guys are like, yeah, for me, like, I mean, it's kind of a 50-50 spread, but my forehand is more dominant. I'm like, yeah, I'd rather have no serve. And that's coming from a guy, that like can serve. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We've gotten all kinds of answers,
question.
man.
That's a good question. I have a decent backhand. I think I do have a powerful forehand. And like I said, my serve right now is just consistent. I can get you. I can get you maybe once or twice, but I'm not looking to win games with it. Not yet.
Not yet. Hey, that's the key right there.
Yeah, not yet.
Not
But
yet.
it's on the way.
We're gonna set up some doubles, then get you out on the court. Me, Lou, maybe Sergio, some other folks.
Anytime.
Lord.
We love to show up for those. We love to show up for those. We take all of those challenges, and we either gonna win or we gonna go home and talk about how we gonna win next time.
There we go. I like that.
Yeah, let's set that up. I'm certainly down for that. We can do that anytime.
All right, game.
Yeah, that battle with Sergio was brutal.
Sergio is serious. Sergio is a serious tennis player. He's one of the things that I say about Sergio. I've watched Sergio play tennis from 6 a.m. till midnight. I've watched him do it on more than one occasion. Like that, it's not even a rarity. Like I've watched him do that a lot, and it takes a special kind of person to have Sergio's level of energy, which is what makes him great. Which is what makes him great as a coach. It makes him great as a general tennis player. It makes him great in the space altogether. But yes, if you want to play with Sergio, get your rest. Get your rest. Yeah, he's gonna be able to go
and hydrate before.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
So, Marcus, thanks again for being part of the podcast. We look forward to collaborating, figuring out ways that we can give NGT exposure, and also being able to, help out, even if it's just showing up or helping with the planning or whatnot, or just bringing folks. Like I said during the podcast, I can think of 30 people that I can go and tell, hey, you should come here and have a ton of fun. The same thing that I did in the previous event. I actually wish you were there.
Man,
so
I appreciate that.
I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna steal that one from you. So thanks again for being part of the podcast. We look forward to seeing more of NGT, the growth, and participating. Any closing thoughts?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. But closing thoughts, man, get out, get active, try something that you haven't tried before, meet somebody you haven't met before. You don't know what your life can be until you try to live it. So I'm doing that myself. I take that mantra with me every day. So yeah, try something new, do something new. Don't be scared to pick up a racket or spin the racket.
Hey, there we go.
Hey.
I love it. Thanks again, Marcus. Appreciate the time.
Oh, yeah. No, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate this. This was fun.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.